Welcome everybody to day 3 of the Journey into Power Masterclass live series for the first time ever with the man himself, Baron Baptiste. We're so excited, all of you showing up on a Saturday morning, seeing it through to completion, choosing in for yourself, your life, your transformation, your relationships, your goals and dreams. So welcome. We're so excited that you're here. As if you came on to the last two, you kind of know the rules of engagement here. We're all going to keep ourselves muted so that we don't accidentally interrupt Baron or Nick when they're sharing some golden nuggets that we don't want to miss. So everyone just be really conscious of keeping yourself muted unless you're ready to share. There's going to be some sharing today, both in the chat and then verbally. And then also when you are ready to share, when they do call on people, remember that little reaction button at the bottom of Zoom. You click on that heart, then it opens up the little tab that says raise your hand. So you'll do that if you want to volunteer to share vocally, and then we'll just put your hand back down when you're done sharing. And then I think that's about it. We just encourage you to also keep your cameras on. We are going to give away 2 more signed copies by Baron of the Journey into Power book. So for those of you who are keeping cameras on, sharing, actively engaging, and participating full out. So we'll have the chance for 2 more people to win that. And then we'll have a couple of more special announcements at the end of today's training. And with that being said, oh, and also if you guys are on a phone, just please make sure, I think everyone has changed their name to their name, but make sure if your name isn't showing, if it says iPhone or something like that, you just hover over, you click on the participants tab at the bottom, then toggle over your name, click those little 3 dots, or on your face, there's little 3 dots, and then you can just change your name so we all know who to call on and who you are that we're practicing with. So there's all the mechanics, distractions off, phones away, notifications off, so we could be fully present for this last masterclass with Baron and Nick. And there we go. So let's welcome Baron and Nick now.
Hey, you all. Welcome. Here we go. Day 3. Good to be with you, as always. Good to see your smiling faces. Let's see the smiles. Yeah, good work, man. I've really been enjoying being here with you these last few days. I've been really moved by being with you. So thank you for your commitments, and I honor your commitments and your commitment to growth and to exploring who you are, getting to know yourself on a deeper level through the practices, through asana, meditation, inquiry, like that. And today we want to talk through right out of the book, the 7 most common mental mistakes in yoga practice and how to avoid them. You know, I've been teaching, I was thinking about it, I've been teaching for decades, at least 3 decades, 4 decades, something like that, a long time. You know, I started actually when I was a teenager teaching teen classes. My parents set it up in their yoga center for kids and teens, and guess who got nominated to teach the kids and teens? That was me. So I started teaching young, and I'll tell you something I've discovered over the years, like really clearly for me, is that the biggest obstacle typically in yoga practice, it's not flexibility, it's not how strong you are, it's not age, it's not body type. It's not, you know, we're all walking autobiographies. We have our injuries, we have our histories, we have our health issues, but typically the biggest obstacle are mental patterns, habitual patterns, mental patterns, or what I'll call mental constraints. Like we have certain constraints that we're not aware. It's like they're blind spots. They're like sunspots. You know, when the sun is in your eyes and it's kind of blinding your view, it's like there's certain ways of being and acting that we're not aware of because we've got like a sunspot, a sunlight, something blocking that view. So it's in the realm. Often these things are in the background mentally, and but they drive the show. They limit what we can do, what we cannot do. They thwart our natural growth and evolution and of what's possible. You know, and those patterns, you know, quietly stop us from growing. But the beauty is when we acknowledge something, when we distinguish something, a constraint, let's say a mental constraint or a habitual pattern that thwarts our progress, our evolution, our growth. When we distinguish it, it moves from the domain of it having us to us having it. So if you can point to it, you can hold it, you have it, and you have the opportunity to give it up, let it go, step in front of it, and do the thing that you feel called to do or that you want to do, what you want to accomplish, who you want to become. So it's really, there's a power as we go through today from the book, the seven most, I'm saying most or often would be accurate. These are often just common mental mistakes in yoga practice. And then again, coming back to, you know, like who we are on the mat is who we are everywhere in life. Consider that. So when we, certain ways of being in our yoga practice, if we really look, we'll see there's certain ways of being in relationships or the way we, in our work or in community, or it shows up kind of everywhere. And then as we again move from these blind spots driving the show and having us, ownership of us, well, now we can own them. And it's not like simple, it's not like they just, oh, I see it, I acknowledge it, and it goes away. But now we've distinguished it, we can see it, and we have the capacity to loosen things up, to move through, not be stopped by these things. And then eventually, as we develop new muscle around it, often these patterns start dissipating and disappearing over time with practice. Yeah. So Nick, and oh, wait, one thing, I really want to hear from you today. So we're going to invite you to share. I believe you all know how to raise your hand. I think Debbie showed you. And what we want to do is really hear from you today and create these different patterns, these common mistakes, and we want to create them with you. Okay. You can also drop your responses in the chat, but we want to hear from you. I really would love to hear from everyone. And especially if you don't have anything important to share, if that's kind of a belief, a mental pattern that what you have to share isn't important, or you don't want to take up too much space, or you're just not good at sharing or talking, I especially want to hear from all of you. Okay, Nick, you want to take this next step on?
Yeah, thank you, Baron, and welcome everyone. I acknowledge you for your commitment to yourself and the people you love and your community. You are a stand for those people, and I'm a stand for you and for your greatness, and I acknowledge you for showing up here today. Before we jump into the content real quick, I just want to set the tone for the class in regard to the 7 most common mistakes. And the first thing I'm going to say, I want to ask you is, have you ever stepped onto your mat and had thoughts like, I'm not flexible enough, or I can't do this, or geez, I'm not as good as they are, or everyone else looks better than me, or maybe just this pose doesn't fit for my body, or why am I here? Will you just in the chat, just type in capital letters yes if you've ever had any questions like that come up for you when you jump onto your mat? Just type
Yeah. It's
yes if you've
just
had those.
that voice in the head, that commentary in the head that's just right there. There's that voice in the head that's got something to say about everything. Even right now, it's got something to say about you sharing, about Nick, about Baron, about, it's just always right here, this voice. But when we get on the mat and we start getting present to it, aware of it, it's like, wow, this voice can really run the show if I'm not present to it. So we just want to get a sense of, are you here with us in this conversation in such a way that you see, yeah, I've got that voice.
Yeah,
If
and I
you're
can
like,
see
and you're
that.
saying to yourself right now, Baron, what are you talking about? I don't have a voice in the head. That's the voice.
Yes, good looking. Everybody sharing. Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. You got it. Awesome. Really good. Okay, so we're going to move now into mistake number one, which is believing your doubts. Y'all, what have you discovered about believing your doubts? Why are doubts so powerful in creating your yoga practice? Something that I see really consistently is that students come into a room and they already doubt that they can do certain poses or even be, that they can be successful in a class. But also, in the moment that someone has that thought that they can't do something is that the moment that they stop being able to explore and stop being able to be open to what possibilities are available for them. So for you, we'd love to hear from you. Like, why are doubts so powerful in your yoga practice? Where in your life do you notice that you have a voice of doubt the most? And how is it costing you in your life? How is it costing you and making an impact in the way that you're interacting with people or interacting with yourself? Who will share on this? How and what have you discovered about believing your doubts? Okay. And you can put your hand up or do the virtual hand. I see that we've got someone who would like to share. Erica would like to share. And you can also share in the chat too. That's great if you want to share in the chat. But Erica, would you like to share?
Yeah, thanks for presenting, taking up space. Because I was like, here I go sharing. Again, there was a doubt. So there's me an opportunity to raise my hand. But I just got done teaching and I actually was teaching on this. So I was walking from my phone to here. And there's two experiences. One, I often see, and I saw this morning, a lot of doubt in the story of I'm tired. So therefore, that's the energy, like the state, or I'm tired, or I've done a lot this week. And so that doubt immediately took people out of their practice this morning versus like, what can I offer to this, or what for me to receive and what's possible. So that's one experience, is like, what if we removed like curiosity of what's possible versus the limiting doubt of I'm tired. And for myself, the doubt, I think, is where I see it is like humility, of like the word, like not being humble, and so not taking space or shrinking, like that part of doubt of being perceived as not humble. And what I recognize is there's a confident humility, and humility doesn't mean playing small or like that level of doubt. Yet I can still be humble and know there's more growth, but yet I still can be confident and take space. And I play into that doubt a lot.
Yeah, very good, very good. And what I get is you're distinguishing that for yourself. Like you're really seeing that, and in real time when you're leading your class and you're with a group of people and you're seeing these kind of doubts sneak up right there in real time. It's like, wait, you can kind of start pointing to it so it doesn't have you. And you step forward, you step in front of it. It's like, no, I can own the space. I can bring a confidence and that is who I am. And as you do that, you actually build greater confidence in real time, in the moment, right?
Right.
I
Yeah.
love that. You know what I get from that too, Erica, is that well, this is your practice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. In real time, because this is where all of these things show up. They show up on the mat, and then in life, where you're teaching or you're interacting with people, you're dealing with all the things going on in the world, and it's like, wait, and that that doubt can just sneak in, but yet you have a practice, And it's not like putting rosy colored glasses on, pretending it's not there. It's like you're related to reality, but you're choosing who you'll be in the moment
Yeah.
and who
Yeah.
you'll be for yourself and others. Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the offerings that I have for myself, like after teaching today, is what if I question the 1% of doubt? There's 99% more room. So, like, it's only a 1% doubt.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah. Yeah.
99% more opportunity versus the 1% doubt. But I'm
Yeah.
giving the 1% doubt 99% effort, you know?
Yeah.
So, it's,
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. I love that. That's so good. You're giving away your power to that
yeah.
1%.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're like, wait, stop it. There's something much greater
Yeah.
available here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you, Erica. Thank you. That's perfect. Let's see. Who
Right
else?
there, and there's a lot of mentions in the chat. Can I share some?
Yeah, please, please.
All right. Judy says a doubt creates a barrier or a wall that slows me down and holds me back from action sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Angela says it's not a cost, it's an investment. It took me and still does occur from time to time to trust the process. Cynthia says, doubt your doubts. Karen says, it keeps me small. Jerry says, it's always there, but I long since learned to let it go. Judy again says, hesitation. Also, he who hesitates is lost. Marina, doubts are powerful because they start in our thoughts. And when we entertain the thought, we can start to believe it. Teresa, I recently took a data analytics class at a university, which I doubted my understanding and turned to my classmates' knowledge to see what I could learn. What I found was I didn't understand their interpretations either. I went with my gut to create my 7-week cumulative presentation, which I rocked out with a 98% grade. Congratulations, Teresa. Very good. Very good shares.
Yeah, very, very good. One thing, yeah, very good, you all. Thank you. Something comes to mind. So just to distinguish doubt from skepticism, to be skeptical, I think is a good quality. It allows for critical thinking. And by nature, I tend to be skeptical, but skeptical and open. Skeptical, like some of the shares here. It's like you're skeptical, but you're open and you're curious, and yet you want to get a greater grasp on the thing, yeah, that you're dealing with, or what there is to know or learn for yourself. Different than skepticism would be cynicism. Cynicism is when you're closed, you're shut off, and this is how it is, and there's no other option available, kind of thing. So cynicism, I say, doesn't allow for growth. But skepticism is healthy. So you're even when let's say you're in a classroom and the teacher gives you an instruction to do something, and you're like, I'm not sure if that fits for my body. And you explore the instruction for yourself and in your own way, staying true to yourself and your body and your needs. But then you're open, you're in an exploration, you're in wonder, curious, to discover for yourself, because that's the real power, is when we discover for ourselves. And our teachers support that process. But at the end of the day, we want to discover for ourselves. We could also call that empowering the teacher within. Yeah. Real quick, I want to just, I have the etymology of the word doubt. It comes from the Latin dubitare, which means to hesitate, waver, be uncertain, from the root dubious, which means two or double, divided. So the deeper root of the word doubt is duo, meaning two. So originally the word implies a mind divided between two possibilities, not yet knowing which one is true. In its earliest sense, doubt literally means to stand between two interpretations of reality. Yeah. And so when you're in your own process of discovery and you're exploring with the real people in your life or the real poses, you know, with your body in the moment, you're looking, you're discovering. So there's the voice of doubt, which maybe has some value. Yeah, again, in the realm of skepticism. But then you're in this process of discovering for yourself. And if you're standing between two interpretations of reality, you come to your own knowingness for which reality fits, which is actually true versus, you know, interpretations is in the realm of stories or in a realm of knowing something different than being and experiencing something. So just wanted to presence that. I thought that had value for us here in relationship to this question about doubts. Yeah. To
Wow.
be double-minded. Yeah, right. And the uncertainty and then the hesitancy. And then, you know, getting related to reality, what's real. And then you have maybe two interpretations. No, this isn't good. Or yes, it's good. Or, you know, what are these two possibilities that are available? And then through your own discovery, you know, in your being and acting is consistent with reality, what's so, not just other people's opinions or teachers' opinions or like that, but you're getting to your own discovery and your own knowingness, which is really in the realm of beingness and experience is what we want through the practice to accomplish. Yeah. Okay. Very good.
So
Moving right
Baron,
along. Oh, yeah.
Bill
Yeah.
has his hand up, and then Carly also wanted to share, but she just couldn't figure out how to raise her hand. If you have time for two more.
Let's do it. Yeah, real quick. Good. Bill.
Hey,
Hey, Bill.
yeah, I wanted to extend on that a little bit. You know, the concept of skepticism or cynicism and cynicism. Skepticism is discernment,
Yeah, good.
right? And if you don't have discernment, or like you say, critical thinking, then what do you have? Right? Now, cynicism and sarcasm, the great swamis, Shivananda, Paramahansa Yogananda, they've always taught us do not be cynical, do not be sarcastic, because that is a negative energy. And, you know, I could actually share a quick little interesting tidbit in the yoga world where the person I'm working with or going to regular practice with, at one point she stated, "Oh, I hate yoga blocks. You all know how much I hate yoga blocks." And I sat there thinking, "Wow, she hates yoga blocks. That's kind of weird because she has a whole room full of them." And she looked at me like, and I even said something like, "You got a room full of yoga blocks. What are you talking about?" And she said, "You don't like." I was being sarcastic, and I realized later that that's where the sarcasm, the negative energy really comes in, even as a yoga teacher, because somebody who doesn't have that ability to be discerning and listen and actually ask a question can actually be steered really the wrong way, totally the wrong way, right? I mean, this person actually, if somebody was new to this class and didn't ask, she might have actually steered them to think that yoga blocks and props were really improper in the practice of asanas, right? And then doubt, even this morning, I actually helped share a story with a friend of mine who's having a lot of doubt about his life and certain things. And this came across through some other article, a cross reference to Beethoven. And think about this. Beethoven wrote most of his masterpieces after the age of 35 when he was fully deaf. He couldn't even hear the music he was writing, but he didn't doubt it. He just wrote it. So if you think you have doubt, imagine what was going on in Beethoven's head, right? So don't doubt yourself, work forward. And that's what I told my friend this morning. I even sent him a link to one of Beethoven's, the Symphony 7. I said, just listen to this and imagine that writing this, he wrote this, he couldn't even hear the music he was writing, but he didn't doubt what he was writing.
Pretty amazing. Yeah. And he blew everyone away around him.
Right,
Right. Yeah.
right.
And he didn't even know what it sounded like.
He couldn't
Yeah,
hear
it's
it.
great.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even with what you mentioned, great insight, by the way, just around the teacher who
Yeah.
said something about, the blocks.
Right.
Um, to me, and you pointed to this, it's a great insight because it's like you saw kind of after the fact, you saw you were being sarcastic. And I'll say this about cynicism, it kills off life. It kills
Yes.
off possibility. Yeah, it kills off discovery. Yeah, but skepticism different. Yeah, it's critical. And then so the way to be with that is, well, okay, this teacher doesn't like blocks, but is that so for me in my practice? Kind of thing. I mean, I practice still to this day. I always have two blocks on my mat when I practice. 30
Sure.
something years, 40 years later, right? And so, if the teacher said that, I'd be okay, that's her opinion, yeah. And maybe in this practice we're doing it without blocks and I'm open and available for that, no problem. And doesn't mean it's my end all and everything. I've discovered for myself that blocks are a very useful tool in my practice. Do I need to practice with them all the time? No, not at all. But I do appreciate having the blocks. They give me a different access to poses. Yeah. Very good. Thank you, Bill. Debbie, you said, yeah, very good. You have one more, you said, Debbie?
Yeah, Carly said she wanted to share, just couldn't figure out how to raise her hand.
Oh, okay. Carly.
Yeah,
Hi.
that's me. Hello.
Hey, Carly.
Hey, I'm an old bird who can't figure out Zoom on my phone. um, hello, long time no chat. I'm not sure if everyone has had the pleasure of completing a level one with you, but I did back in 2014, and
I
my heart's
remember you.
pounding. I
Yeah.
didn't have the courage to share in level one or level two. Actually, I did in level two with Paige, but my heart's pounding like I'm standing in front of everybody.
Good for
Anyways,
you. Yeah, I just want to I
ah,
want to acknowledge that. Really, like just going for it anyhow, right? Feel the
yeah.
fear and do the thing, and that's
Yeah.
courage. Yeah, very
But I'll
good.
tell you, I've been doing the shit for all the years, sharing the Baptiste Power series on a regular basis and blowing the roof off of rooms. So the shit works, everybody, as they know. Yeah.
Good
So
work.
I'm a regular power teacher and blowing up people's lives, my family. My daughter tracked you down in Vancouver. I don't know if you remember a girl tracking you down on Robson Street and getting a picture with you and saying you changed our family's lives. But that
Wow.
was my daughter.
Wow. I
She
love
tracked
it.
you down when you were teaching at Seawees.
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
was my
Oh, that's
daughter.
amazing. Isn't that
Yeah.
so cool?
I'm
Good
getting my
job.
kids to yell shit that defying the lies over here.
Good
So
job.
my
Good job,
share,
Mom. Good job.
yeah, thanks, Baron. Thanks for giving me the courage to, empower me that I can make a difference. I'm making a difference. So my share, I wanted to share about what you said about doubt, going back a little bit. It made me think of what you were saying in your previous sessions on this workshop about limitations or what we accept. And I think of doubt as limitations. And you said something powerful in level one about believing, accepting what other people have told us or what we told ourselves. And anytime doubt creeps up for me, I do a little work backwards about where I believe that doubt, if it's something I've been telling myself or something someone else told me, and it's been so powerful. Sometimes I can hear the voice of the fucking person that said the thing, and I usually
Hmm.
burst out laughing.
Yeah.
And and it's a choice of whether I'm going to believe that. And it doesn't mean it's easy. You gave me the good advice to constantly be doing the work of throwing it away because it
Hmm.
wouldn't be easy. And yeah, I just want to let you know that that's like that was a very powerful insight, that was something I accepted, and I
Yeah.
not to accept that doubt, and that it comes from somewhere, and figuring out where it came from has been
Yeah.
very powerful to like root it backwards, like do the backwards work,
I
and then it's
really,
not true.
yeah, yeah, and not true, right?
Yeah,
And it's
not
not
true.
true. And
It's
it's
not
like,
true.
yeah, you really again are describing beautifully your practice in real
Yeah.
life, in real moments. It's like you've
Yeah.
got your practice. You're not being taken out by something because you see, it's like, wait, I'm at choice here. I can
Yeah.
see. And then, yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? When we really start looking, like, as you've been doing at, like, typically these stories, these doubts come from, one of two places. We either made them up
Hmm.
ourselves and then we bought into them, we believed
Yeah.
them, or they somehow got imposed on us. Someone said
Yeah.
something and then we bought into it and we believed it.
Hmm.
It became, again, a story about
Yeah.
ourselves, kind of thing. But
And
when you start
important that it's,
distinguishing that this is
yeah.
kind of, it's all made up. Wait, I
Yeah.
can
And
choose.
not that it's
Yeah,
funny, not that it's
yeah.
funny. I mean, that carries weight, that carries heartache. And, it's a little bit of a grieving, especially if you've believed it for a while. So, I mean, I don't mean to
Hmm.
minimize that. And I think,
Yeah.
but when it's very freeing when
Hmm.
you realize you don't need to believe it anymore.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it
There's a
feels very light.
lightness.
Light.
Yeah.
There you go, my friend.
Lightness of being
Yeah.
that comes up and
Yeah. I'll
freedom
tell
in
you,
that. Yeah.
that has been the best gift that I ever received from hanging out with you. And Matt,
Very
I want to
good.
hang out again.
Come
So
back.
thank you for
Yeah.
this.
I'd love
I've
to
been
have you in a
dying. I've been
program this
dying.
year. Yeah. Love to
Yeah.
see you in a program.
Yeah. Bud.
All right. You
You're telling
thank you.
me.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
Carly. Yeah.
Take
Really
care.
great. Really great. Okay.
Thank you.
All
Peace.
right. Yes. Peace to you. Okay. Nick, moving
Real,
right along here.
really great. All right. So now we're going to talk about mistake number 2, despising the days of small beginnings. What have you discovered about despising the days of small beginnings? One thing that I've noticed is that a lot of times people want to get someplace before actually putting in the work to get there. That people are very uncomfortable just being a beginner, stepping into something that is brand new to them. What is something that you've struggled with when you first started in your life on your mat that eventually opened up for you? Maybe even just in a pose. What is something that you've discovered that has opened up for you and that has shifted things in your life, and allowed you to be in a space of being a beginner so that you can expand rather than being closed off? I see, like, when people sometimes come in without a beginner's mindset, and they're unable to just be in a beginner's place, and they want to achieve something, I find that it really closes off their ability to discover their potential. So yeah, I'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear from you. What have you discovered about despising the days of small beginnings? What is something you've maybe struggled with before that you just now have realized has opened up for you in your pose, your mat, or in your life? Who will share? You can put a hand up. You can also type it in the chat if that's really more comfortable for you. Really good. Okay, Gianna. Hi, Gianna. Thank you.
Hey, Gianna.
Can't hear you, Gianna. Not sure if your mic is on.
No, we still can't hear you.
Better?
Oh yeah, can hear you now. Yeah.
There you are.
Yeah.
Okay, you can hear me now?
Yeah. Speak a
Okay.
little louder, but yeah, we got you. Yeah. Yeah. We got.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
It's okay. So I think that, what's it called? Well, sorry.
Despising the days of small beginnings. Beginners. Yeah.
For me, taking a
Oh, we just lost you again. Oh, wait, there. Lean
Let's
toward
go
your
back.
mic.
Sorry.
Gianna, lean toward your mic a little bit. Maybe if you get closer.
Is this better?
Oh, yeah.
We're together, so I just switched computers.
Loud and clear. Yeah.
So for me, like taking a step back from my mat and back from my practice for no other reason than falling out of it, kind of put me in a position where like I want to get back into it and I want to be where I was when I stepped off of it. And like there are a couple other things in my life where like I want to be where I was when I was at the peak of it. and it's like starting over that kind of feels so scary in the starting process. But like in my mind, I know that the beginning of things is like that's the best. Like baby steps are actually like some of the most remarkable steps in your lifetime, in a child's lifetime, and that when you're a beginner, you start out and you have no expectations of yourself. So right now for me, I'm to getting back onto my mat, I can say this, and like it's kind of like when you dip bread in balsamic and oil, when like it you get the oil but you don't get the balsamic because it's not soaking all the way through. So I can like say it and hear it, but I'm trying to bring myself to know it, that once I do get back onto my mat and start my practice every day, that things will begin to flow. But there's that weird doubt in my mind that is, I don't know if it's doubt, but something's like, I think it's fear that's holding me back from starting again, because I know that my body's going to feel so good doing this, but also through my body feeling so good, a lot of things are going to come up for me, just because practicing and being on my mat and doing yoga is like deeply connected to my childhood. And I think that it always brings up that, which I love, but also think that I'm a bit afraid of. So it's kind of like starting over again feels scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah. I'll say a couple things if I heard you. Did you say something about getting back to where you were?
Yes.
Yeah. In the practice. Yeah. Good.
Practice.
And then I'll say something about that fear thing you were talking about that's kind of here. So I don't want to get too heady about this, but consider we all have a conscious mind. Yeah. When we're really in drishti, we're in our breath, we're present on the mat in real time, moment to moment. We're conscious. Yeah. We're really working and moving, breathing from our conscious mind. And then we've got all this subconscious stuff going on, like from the past.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so it's like I can wake up in the morning and say, okay, I'm going to meditate 2 times today. I'm going to do my practice. I'm not going to drink coffee today. I'm not, but then, I'm conscious, and I mean that. But then somewhere along the way, the subconscious, what's in the background, takes over. And then I end up drinking coffee. I don't end up doing 2 meditations. I don't do the things I say I want to do. Does that make
Mhm.
sense? There's something else at work in the background.
Yes.
Yeah. And so the beauty of the power of the practice is that we get into just using our conscious mind, we're putting our attention on this moment. We're taking our attention off all the other, the doubts, the other things going on. This is hard. I don't want to do it. We take our attention off all that and we put our conscious attention through drishti, and then the breath, getting present, getting in our body. And it's a conscious experience, and it frees us up a bit from all that subconscious stuff. Now, sometimes the subconscious stuff comes up to be looked at. It's just there, and it's like we don't need to get into analyzing it or assessing it or interpreting it, but we're just aware that there's these other, like you mentioned, fear in the background or something like that. So we can be present to it, but we stay conscious in the practice, and it has a way of working through things. And then on the other side of the practice, when you get all the way over to the other side into shavasana, let's say, it's like, oh, you're there in shavasana, and you're like, oh, thank goodness, I gave this gift to myself, right? I got this done, regardless of the fear, regardless of just those subconscious patterns or habits or things in the background. And you're now empowering a new way through using your conscious, attention and intention. You're
Right.
putting action to what you consciously want to do. So it really is about getting in action. So I wanted to say that. Does that make sense a bit?
Yes. Yeah, it definitely does. Thank you. And that's been a big part, is like getting conscious in the action, because I know I want to do it. I have to start it, and I have to like
Yeah.
everything has to go into motion.
Yeah.
Um, and I
Yeah.
think
Very good. And how do you start it?
you show up,
You just show up.
show up.
You just get on the mat, right? It's the action. It really just lives in the world of action.
Yeah.
Yeah, out
Yeah.
of all
Like,
those thoughts and yeah.
But when we practiced the other night, at the end of the last call, I texted my mom and I was like, I'm so exhausted. I think I'm gonna just like sit in my bed and listen to the last 30 minutes. And she texted me, she was like, don't be that way. Show up for yourself. And I
Mm,
like left that and I was like, I haven't felt like this. And so I was like, I feel amazing. Like just connecting to it and like I haven't done one of your hearing your voice in practice in a while. I was like, okay, like it just like brought me back and I was like, I want that again. And then I woke up the next day and I was like, I'm so busy. I have this and I have that. So yeah.
yeah. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Good. Right? You feel amazing on the other side of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so good. And then last thing, real quick, I'll just speak to, getting back to what your practice used to be. We could call that comparison, or you hear that a lot. People come to practice and they're like, oh, and they're frustrated because they used to be able to do certain poses or certain things really well. And now they can't. And then they're comparing to that past self, right? Or you hear people say, oh, I feel like I've lost myself in this job or this situation in my life. I feel like I want to get back to who I was. But consider that that's a past-based self. Like if I look at my life, if I wouldn't want to go back to the 10-year ago Baron. Like I just wouldn't want to do that because even you go through hardships, the darkness before the dawn sometimes, and you go through hardships, but now, okay, here I am, present now, and I bring all that life experience from the past, the experiences and the skills I've developed through maybe going through hardships or not having but I'm not trying to get back to who I was a year ago or two. I wouldn't want to do that. That's living life through a rearview mirror kind of thing.
Mhm.
It's like, no, I want to create my life from who I am right now. And this is my stand for my life right now, my calling right now,
Yeah.
like what's pulling me right now and what I'm wanting to cause in my life, what I'm wanting to create in my life from right now, given all the experiences I've had up to this moment. So when I step on the mat today, I'm not trying to get back to who I was yesterday or the meditation I had when I saw lights and God revealed, I'm not trying to have every meditation get back to some past experience because we can get caught up chasing experiences
Yeah.
that from the past. But no, I want to life's happening right now. And how I'm living life right now is creating and causing the future I'm growing into.
Right.
So it's like, I'm just giving you the distinction of,
Yeah.
a past based self or practice or the body. And we're all aging, and we're at different phases in I am at different phases in my practice than I was 30 years ago, like in the book here. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing I do those same poses, but they don't look like they look in the, back whenever, like, so, and I'm not trying to get back to that per se. That
Yeah.
may be a measure of something. It showed I have capability, and I also have all these distinctions in my body from years and years of practice that I bring to the practice today, but I'm not comparing it to a past
Right.
that I want to discover again. I'm creating it like brand new for my new means never before. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Very good. Okay. Moving right along. Was there someone else or?
There's a couple more people with their hands up. We haven't heard from
Okay.
Marina, and Marina has her hands up.
All right.
Thanks,
Marina.
Marina.
Hey, Marina.
Hello, Baron. Can
Good
you
to
hear
see
me?
you. I
It's
can
good to
hear
see
you.
you.
You too. You too.
Thank you so much just for sharing this time and space for all of us. And hello to everyone else on the call. So I always joke that I am a recovering perfectionist and a recovering people pleaser. And so there was a part of my life prior to this practice where like the small beginnings felt almost like failure. And what I've gotten really present to through this work, through my personal, faith and walk with God, is that the small beginnings are actually probably more important than where you're going to, because they're the pieces that are getting you there. And so I've learned to really appreciate the small beginnings because, you know, as we speak to in the practice, it's a part of the journey. It's a part of the process of ultimately getting us to where we're going. And so if we diminish or try to rush through the small, humble beginnings, we miss really the big picture because it's all a part of the journey and a part of, you know, the puzzle. And so I've learned that, you know, softening into process and trusting the process ultimately gets us to look back once we're where we want to get to and appreciate all that it took to arrive there.
Yeah. Yeah. Very
Yeah,
good.
like you can
All
look
the
back with,
discovery, all the
yeah,
learning, the mistakes, the failures, but you grow from them.
yes,
You know, if there's a failure, it's not like I failed, it failed, the attempt, but you know, extract the gold out of that failing, the learning. Yeah. And you
yes,
shake all the rest of it off, the
that's right.
judgments, the assessments, the, you know, good, bad, wrong, like all that, shake that and just pull the gold forward, and you're growing in the process through those little fails or those mistakes, and from the wins, the things that are being done well. Get
Yeah. And
con- you,
deeper gratitude for it
yeah,
all, for the whole
yeah,
journey, the full picture.
very
Like being
good.
in the pose, you know, like when
Yeah,
I finally arrive in Crow, like being able to appreciate those small, humble beginnings that got me to the Crow. It's a deeper level
yeah,
of gratitude.
yeah.
Yeah.
So good, Marina. Thank you. Good to
Thank
hear you and
you.
see you. Thank you.
Good to
Very
see
good.
you.
All right. There was one more.
There was one more hand up, and there's also a bunch of shares in the chat too.
Oh yeah, Debbie, you want to read the chat?
Yes. So Stephanie says I'd have to learn how to modify my practice with blocks due to an injury. My mental practice suffered wanting to be where my practice was prior to injuries. Between PT and forced to focus on small steps to build a new foundation, I'm very comfortable in this stage of my practice and I'm much stronger, but feeling a little lost in my next step. Do I take the blocks away or do I continue with the blocks? So I don't know if you want to speak to that before I maybe answer one or two more.
Read it again. I want to make sure I got it.
Okay. So she says, I've had to learn how to modify my practice with blocks due to an injury. My mental practice suffered wanting to be where my practice was prior to the injuries. Between PT and forced to focus on small steps to build a new foundation, I'm very comfortable in this stage of my practice and I'm much stronger, but feeling a little lost in my next step. Do I take the blocks away or do I continue with the blocks?
I love blocks. So especially, yeah, especially when you're dealing with an injury or something specific, they're just a support. They're a tool, and again, it's like that whole thing of how your body used to be or comparison when you have an injury. But for me, injuries have been my greatest teachers. They make me slow down, really listen to my body. Using a block, blocks, you can really, get kind of connected to what's going on. You can work intelligently, putting in alignment, true north alignment, putting in methodology that has you work from the center of your body and work around the injury. When you start, hitting pain, the pain that's like from of an injury, you just back off a little bit. You like stay just above the pain threshold when working around an injury, but you're really wanting to discover integration of your whole body when working with an injury. And that's where a block can really support that. It just takes out some of the extra intensity. Okay, very good. What
Okay,
else?
and
Were
then
there more?
one
Yeah.
more in the chat. Yeah, Nancy says blocks are not a sign of weakness, but a sign of wisdom. And then Teresa says, acknowledge yourself where you are at now, not where you were yesterday or where you want to be tomorrow. This moment is all we really have.
Mm.
And then I know Bill already shared, but he's had his hand up to share again so patiently. Can he share again?
Okay, a quickie Bill share. I love Bill's stories. Okay.
Sorry, I actually, but yeah, the blocks are like, I found myself going back to blocks with an injury and an illness where I had to bring the floor to me. And over time, it's helped me get back to not necessarily needing the blocks, but I had to overcome that part of me that said, no, I don't need the blocks. But,
Yeah.
you know, especially after I had COVID in 20, I was pretty bad. And it threw off my whole vestibular cerebellar balance system. So balance has been horrible for me since. And then I had an auto accident. It's just, so I need the blocks. But
yeah,
now I'm back to the point where I look at it and say, well, okay, whatever, I use the blocks. And that 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 was why I was a little thrown off when that person I was working with said she didn't like blocks. And I realized later she was being sarcastic about it because the blocks really are, like you say, they're a tool, and not something to be ashamed of and afraid of. The other tools are useful too, like a chair or something like that. Anything that it takes, anything
yeah,
it takes,
good.
right?
Yeah, whatever it
So
takes. Yeah,
yeah, just leaning on a
yeah,
wall, leaning
yeah,
on a wall. Half the time I can't do balance poses without holding onto a wall at this point because my whole vestibular system is still, some days it's great, some days it's not.
yeah.
Just
Very
is what it
good.
is.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, very good demonstration of how to use the blocks, why to use the blocks, and you had maybe a goal of like not needing the blocks,
Well,
and that's
the
great
important thing is
too.
I had to get
Yeah,
past myself and just say, I need this.
yeah, very good. Thank you, Bill. Yeah, very good. Okay, Nick, moving right along.
All right, you got it. Mistake number 3, embracing tradition over intuition. What have you discovered about embracing tradition over intuition? One of the things that I love about your teaching, Baron, and the Baptiste yoga world is how teachers invite students to pay attention to their own body. And quite often what I found is a lot of times people come into a class or a studio or into life looking for the answers from someone else. And so I'm curious, and we'd love to hear from you. What have you discovered about embracing tradition over intuition? Like, why is trusting intuition, your intuition, such an important part of your yoga practice? And maybe this will help you. Think of some moment in your life where you've followed an inner knowing. You've trusted your gut. You listened to your intuition, and it worked out for you. And what did that choice create for you in your practice? Like, by actually tuning into your body, to listening to yourself, like, what did that actually do for you in your life and in your body? And we'd love to hear from you. And you can share in the chat too.
Yeah, anyone who would like to share. I'll say this too, as people are raising their hands, is firstly, I have great respect for tradition. And, tradition supports bringing the lineage, the teachings forward. But I've also, at a certain point, I realized there was a certain rigidity in tradition with yoga practice that just didn't fit my body, my being, my own discovery. And so that's where I was like, okay, tradition offers something and can honor that, pull from that what works. But then at the end of the day, this is my practice. So I need to discover for myself and using intuition. So, analytical thinking is linear, we could say. And intuition, the way we use it here is, intuition is holistic. So intuition, it's more of the felt sense. It's the inner knowing. It's a clarity that comes through your listening. Again, that felt sense. So, and intuition is so like, you know, our fear, we could say, has an intuition. So we could listen to the intuition that is born out of fear. Anger has its own kind of intuition. Sadness has its own kind of intuition. And if we follow that, it has, whatever the consequences or repercussions or like that. But then there's from the clarity, and let's say when you're in Drishti and you're really present now here, there's something holistically you're present to. And then there's that listening and you're intuiting, as you're listening and you're present, that whether it's in your own body, in your practice, or in a relationship, or what I want to point to is where are we listening from? Where is our intuition? It always is the question, where's the intuition coming from? Because intuition is born out of different spaces, places within ourselves, from the subconscious, from the conscious. And so, and in my experience, intuition operates in milliseconds. You see elite athletes or surgeons or airplane pilots, they rely on intuitive recognition because, as well as, analysis. But analysis would be too slow sometimes. So there's that intuitive sense that's right here, in milliseconds kind of thing. And you recognize these patterns of intuition, detects patterns across, your body, let's say, or your mindset. It's like intuition is related, again, holistically, mind, body, being, like that. Did anyone have their hand up to share?
Yeah, we've got a couple people with their hand up.
Great.
Dana. Thanks,
Hi.
Dana. Hi.
This Dana? Hi.
Hey, Dana.
Hi. Sorry, I hope these guys don't bark, but so I teach two different classes. I teach a power class and I teach a restorative class. And one day I was walking to my restorative class and I was thinking, I kept on getting this thing like, you should teach from the back of the class. Like, don't be in the front of the class. Like, just be in the back. And we have this really pretty, like, outdoor scenery. So you can, like, see trees and everything. But if I'm in the front, you see me. And people kind of just look to me to, like, what should I do? What's she doing next? If I'm doing the practice in restorative. And I always tell them to be in their body and to do like what feels good to you. Like you don't have to move your arm. You don't even have to move. You could just lay there. And they would always look at me and see, well, what's she gonna do next? And so I was like, okay, well, this is kind of weird, but I'll do it. So I set up in the back of the class and all of my students were like, are we changing like our direction? Like, what are we doing? And I was like, no, no, you're gonna do that. And I told him, I was like, I don't typically listen to my intuition, but this one was pretty strong. Like that I should teach from the back of the class. And I have new people that come in and they just hate it, like the idea of it. But then after the class, they're so much like lighter. Like it's just I've had a way better response from it. And so yeah, so that's going with intuition over, traditional. You're in the front.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, very good. And I bet people are in the experience because, I get it. It's like if you're always at the front, people become like just habitual. They just kind of watch you and follow the motions. But when now you're not there, they actually have to listen, right? Listen to you and listen to their own bodies and just they really discover something beyond just having a mirror in front.
Yes. And it's I've had one thing that was really cool from it. I've had a couple people come up and say that they have started doing their practice outside of class at home. And that's kind of what I thought would come from it too, is like them understanding that they don't need a teacher in order to be in their bodies and listen to their bodies all the time. Like they can step on their mats and feel confident with themselves and like being like listening to their own selves. And so I really liked that.
So good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good share. Yeah, very good. Was there another?
Really good. Yes, we've got Dave with his hand up. Thanks, Dave.
Okay.
Yeah,
Dave.
you bet. Hi there. Baron, thank you for having this. I'm in one of Lisa Ellison's teacher training right now.
Fantastic. Say hello to her. She's
I
fantastic.
I will.
Baptiste teacher. Yeah.
Yeah, she is. And I'm gonna kind of take this back. I'm a just quick. I'm a retired firefighter, so we had a saying in fire that we have 150 years of tradition unimpeded by progress. And I think that's a funny statement because, right, tradition can get you stuck if you don't. And I'm going to take it back to what you said before about being skeptical, right? If you have 150 years of tradition unimpeded by progress, you haven't been very skeptical about looking at what that tradition is.
Yeah.
And then, being a firefighter, we end up getting hurt. And so having to start over is very humbling, right? You've gone from, all the things that my body was capable of. And then after back surgery, I could barely walk to the neighbor's house and back. And it's very humbling to start over like that. And just to wrap it all up, the self-doubts and everything comes screaming at you, but it's not until you get really quiet and you can really focus on, and a lot of people, for me it was meditation got me into yoga. Some people go the other way, but it's that quiet that you can truly hear, truly hear the messages, and then you get to decide what you're going to listen to and what you're not going to listen to in every given day.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate, it's really relating what you're talking about, that having to start back over. It's just such a humbling thing. And like you said, tradition's a wonderful thing as long as you're being a little bit skeptical and kind of making sure you're moving in a positive direction.
Evolving. Yeah.
Evolving into what's next.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Dave. Very good.
Thank you. And Debbie, I think there's a couple shares in the chat. Are there a couple there?
There are. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. So Erica says, what I've seen in my own practice, especially with JIP sequence, somewhere along the way, it could have been teachers. I've had the tradition of the practice was having it rigid, nearly militant. I realized that I didn't honor the softness, flow, and honoring the yin or the femininity of the practice, or honor the tradition of yoga. Stepped away to explore further teachings and came back to trust my intuition of how the JIP sequence is for me and feel the full range of energies more balanced within the sequence. And the practice is yoga tradition throughout: hatha, ashtanga, ease, yin, balancing doshas, etc. So very beautiful share there. Evelyn says, I love tradition, the wisdom, the tools of the yamas and the niyamas. However, I am leaning into intuition, which has led me to honoring my need for my practice more than my teaching. I've recently taken a step back from teaching after teaching consistently for 4 years due to life changes. We cannot pour from an empty cup.
Good.
And then one more. Judy says, I love the framework that Baptiste Yoga offers, which allows us to embellish, go to our edge, and create something bigger, but with strong foundations from the teaching we learned prior. This helps me to grow and experience transformation with my intuitive thoughts and feelings.
Very good. Very good. Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you.
Really good. Baron, there's also a Carly in the chat says she has her hand up. I'm guessing that she's just having a hard time getting her hand up. We ready to take a share from Carly? Carly,
Sure,
would you like to share?
Do that.
Hello?
Hey, Carly.
There you
Hey.
are.
Am I sharing twice now?
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's
it's
good.
I'll make it quicker.
We never get tired of you. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. This made me, the intuition tradition thing made me think of something that a yogi friend of mine said that really has stuck with me. He said, until it's lived experience, it's just borrowed knowledge. And that made me kind of think about intuition and that deeper sense of knowing that you often talk about. And until you know something and feel it for yourself, you're really just taking borrowed knowledge.
Yeah.
Do you see any correlation there?
Yeah. Discovering for yourself, in contrast to just taking, knowledge is like, again, to distinguish, there's something different from knowing about something, like knowing something and being something. Yeah. In your own
Mhm.
experience.
And I often hear this from my students when they ask me, hey, when I do this, should I be doing this? Or I heard this, and asking me for absolutes about their practice. And, I'm not one to give absolutes about anything, or should I be doing this, or specific answers,
Yeah.
and that's why I love True North alignment is different in everybody.
Yeah.
Even though there are pillars and principles and what we're looking for, but it's really a self-discovery thing. And yeah, it really encourages getting into your body and discovering for yourself, and just relying on, what you've read, or, you know, absolutes from somewhere else.
Yeah. Very good.
Does that
Thank
make
you.
sense?
Oh,
Does that make
yeah.
sense? Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Totally. No, it's very good insight. Very good. And that's what we're up to here is just, as we have a conversation about these kind of principles, it's like we all just hear it in different ways that apply to our lives and our practice. So it's really the learning through each other. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. No, very valuable. It's good. Very good. Thank you. All right, Nick, moving right along here.
All right. Mistake number 4, not recognizing that the prize is in the process. What are you recognizing, and what are you discovering about not recognizing that the prize is in the process? I know in the years that I've been teaching this practice, I've seen many people come in who are more concerned about what the pose looks like and less concerned about the process around creating the pose. Right? And of course, this is viable not just on our yoga mat, but in our life as well. So what would change in your life if you trusted the process more? And why is focusing on achievement such a trap in a yoga process? Who will share on that? What have you discovered about not recognizing that the prize is in the process?
Yeah, who would like to share? Often we say, the prize isn't okay. The process is distinct from the destination. Yeah, and we can be so focused, so fixated on getting to a destination, a certain result. You're on the mat. Some of you shared, you're just kickstarting, getting back into your practice again. And so there's some destination you want to get to, but the process, or in relationship, right? Or in building, if you're an entrepreneur and you're building a business, it's the real growth and the real development of ourselves comes through how we're dealing with whatever's coming up in the process as an opportunity, as a possibility, rather than focused on the achievement, the finish line, or the recognition. But the real prize is in the process itself, the discipline it takes, what you're learning and discovering about yourself, the practice, the business you're beginning, the relationship you're in, the setbacks you experience as you're going through the process. There's great learning in the setbacks, and those setbacks build resilience. You're committed. You're someone who's committed, and someone who's committed doesn't quit. They get knocked down and they just get back up. But the moments where you discover, those are all the moments of where you discover what you're capable of, and that's where confidence is built. It's where skillfulness is developed. So the process is where character is formed, you could say. Skills developed, awareness grows, get a bigger picture of things as you get out of the weeds. And then by the time you reach the outcome, the real reward has already happened. Yeah, the real reward has already happened. You've become someone new as a result of growing through the process. Yeah, did anyone want to share? Yeah, the destinations may come and go, the awards, the achievements, the recognition, all that comes and goes. But what you really grow from is the process. Who you become going through the process stays with you. Yeah. Did anyone want to share on this?
I have a couple chats. Jerry says it is the journey that is what this program is all about. I'm not good enough to ever get there. The reward is the journey, the process. Very good. Judy says, my life is a journey, not a destination. So I must recognize each step of the way is about being present and appreciating that. And being here now. Erica says current Amazon culture, click buy now, right by 5. We're being conditioned to see instant results. What is the supply process to get the package to the door? The journey of the package. Life, Dana says, life can be exhausting and empty if there's no joy in that process because growth always changes the end line. And Stephanie says, I find I lose my breath when I focus on the prize. If I stay in the moment of the process, my practice excels.
Very good. Very good. Thank you all. Thank you. Nick, moving right along. What's up next?
All right. Next, mistake number 5, competition and comparison. What have you discovered about competition and comparison, and why is competition a trap in a yoga practice? Oh man, I know it's like something I saw in myself when I first got into yoga practice, is that I wanted to be able to do everything that everyone around me was doing. And I was just starting off and maybe incapable of doing some of those things. But I found that it was like kind of a deep, dark hole that I went into. I was like chasing something, And so when students look around the room to see who's in a deeper or stronger pose, and then they try to compare, then everything changes, So for you, what have you discovered about competition and comparison? And in regards to yoga practice, why is competition a trap? In a yoga practice? And have you ever had that experience before? Have you had that experience where you compare yourself to somebody else's yoga pose on your mat? Who will share with the group? We'd love to hear from you. Or you can also share in the chat. We've got a couple of people with their hands up. Marina.
Great.
Yep.
Great.
Go ahead, Marina.
Hey, hello again. Okay,
Hey,
so, as I mentioned in the previous share, just being that recovering perfectionist, I certainly saw that show up, in my practice in the early stages. And, really, I just come back to one of my favorite sayings of comparison is the thief of all joy. And whenever I was operating from that space of perfectionism, competitiveness, it just stole my joy. It's like I'd walk away from the practice feeling, like I said before, like the sense of failing. And when you can just get to being and being okay with where you are in the journey, right? So enjoying the steps, the process, you have abundance of joy because you're not comparing yourself to everyone external to you.
Yeah.
That the joy is an inside job. It's an internal working. And it comes this state of joy when we can just be with ourselves, as you say, Baron, as we are and as we aren't. And so I've learned that when I can just release, the competition and the comparison, then I can just be with who I am
Yeah.
authentically.
Yeah. Very good. It's kind of like
Yeah.
what becomes possible when you let go of comparison. Yeah. What
Yes.
becomes possible when you let go of competing externally with others or some, again, imagine comparison of what it should be, if you're competing with yourself.
Yes. And getting curious, I think, too, Baron, around where that comes from. Like, what's the root of that? That was what I had to get to. Like, what's the root cause of me feeling like I have to compare myself?
Yeah. Yeah. It brings up also in what you're sharing is the principle of exceeding yourself to find your exceeding self. That occurs in the world of action. So exceeding myself in the pose is different than competing with some result or achievement I should have, let's say, or what it should look like. But exceeding myself to discover my exceeding self is okay, I'm holding the pose. I'm in warrior two or triangle, and I'm holding it. My muscles start shaking and quaking. I'm exceeding myself to discover my exceeding self in the
Yes.
realm of action, but it's different than competition as an external measure. It's an
Yes.
internal commitment to exceeding myself to discover what's possible, to discover that exceeding, growing self. Yeah. Yeah. Very
Exactly.
good. Very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you, Marina. Really good. All right. Who else?
Ryan.
Yes, what's going on, everyone?
Hey,
I
Ryan.
admittedly, what's up, Baron? Thanks for having us again. I think that I admittedly have a large ego, and I think that one of the lines from the book that really helped me is just that the action is instinctual, natural, and without ego. So especially in like practice specifically, like I think it was said in the chat, I don't really compare myself to the people in the room. I compare myself to the previous version of myself that maybe was more flexible prior to like I had like a back surgery about a year ago that has
Mm.
restricted a lot of mobility and flexibility. And I've always had this like Captain America concept. That's like when
Yeah.
I go for a walk, I want to do it the best. I'm in practice, I want to do it the best. And it's always like something that I think is like limiting my current version of myself to try
Mm.
to really be more present. And I completely agree with what was just said by Marina before that, you know, comparison is the thief of joy, whether it be with the people to your left and to your right, or the previous version of yourself, or the version that you want to eventually be. So I think that
Hmm.
it's that peace of mind and the presence of knowing, like, okay, I'm doing the best with who and what I am now with the tools that I have at my disposal, not putting myself in the shoes of anybody else or a different version of myself.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah. Very good. It's like the moment we start comparing the present to some past self or the body in the past, the moment we start looking around the room and measuring ourselves against someone else or what they're doing, whether it's in yoga practice or out in life and business or in relationships, soon as the, that moment when we start looking around and measuring ourselves against something else or someone else, we leave our own experience, yeah, in the moment. So instead of practicing, we start performing. Instead of discovering what is possible in our body, in our breath, in a business, in a relationship, we start trying to prove something. It's like, you know, if we're driven to prove something, we're not present. Uh, Comparison creates judgment, essentially. Competition creates tension. It's not natural. We lose our authentic expression and our authentic, you know, relationship to our calling or our vision for life
Yeah.
in whatever
Supposed to try to be
situation.
something
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. Both competition and comparison pulls us out of presence. Yeah. So the real practice isn't about being better than someone else or getting to who we used to be. It's about becoming more aware, more honest, truthful, and more connected to what is actually happening right now in our body, right here in our practice, right here in a relationship, right here in whatever we're interacting with in our work or our community or in the world. Yeah. But when we drop comparison and competition, something powerful opens up. Yeah. You start learning and discovering and growing as we were talking about in the, you know, beginner's mind, right? So yeah, really good. Thank you. Okay, Nick, moving right along. Oh, Debbie, did you have something in the chat to share?
There's a few, but I just gonna throw out my favorite one. Jerry says, compete. I'm not trying out for the United States Olympic yoga team. It's about me getting to my edge. Baptiste.
Good work, Jerry. I love it. Good work. All right. Nick, what you got
Awesome.
up next?
All right. Mistake number 6. Sometimes less is more. What have you discovered about sometimes less is more? You know, and thinking of the answer to this, you know, think about how do you know, like in your body, how do you know when to push harder or to back off a little bit? You know, I found that that a lot of people come into this practice, like we've talked about a bit already on this call, and wanting to push harder and go further, and thinking that if they do that, that will help them achieve something greater. But what I've also seen is that the students who seem to improve a little bit quicker are ones that back off a bit and allow it to happen a little bit more natural. So who will share? What have you discovered about sometimes less is more? Erica.
All right. Sorry, I have a 7-month-old puppy, and of course she had to go to the bathroom. But I less is more. I think, when I think of practice, I think of it on and off the mat. And I am in Minneapolis, and so I also think I give this analogy a lot to myself, and it's like all the layers that we carry, like the coats, the boots, the scarves, the hats. It's like, what if one layer was removed, and what if there was one article that was lighter? Like, how would that feel for like the inner awareness of lightness? And so the concept of less is more. Like the other day, I was like, I'm exhausted of the layers. I'm exhausted of the snow, the heaviness. And if I just removed a layer and carried less, then I feel lighter and my whole being is lighter. And so I think that also applies to the physical asana too. The over effort, the overstraining only causes more aggravation versus being able to allow the lightness and joy and play to be there, just as if it was, lighter articles of clothing that wasn't bogging it down or carrying it in my backpack. And so I just think of that as like the physical analogy, like off my mat, and what it feels like on the mat as well.
Yeah, very good. It's like it's a subtraction, right? It's a letting go of the excess. It's like,
Yeah.
I think people typically by default live as if more is the path to fulfillment, more effort, more information, more success, more, doing, but what we discover is something different. Power shows up when the unnecessary falls away, when the noise quiets, when the excess drops, when what's essential is revealed. On the mat, in a pose, again, in relationship, in people you work with, just as you strip away excess, all the added stuff, and you get down, then you really get related to the person in front of you, or you and your body, in your being, your mind, in your own practice. And in that space, clarity appears. Yeah. Focus appears.
And intuition,
And
like where we talk
intuition. Yeah.
in our tradition, it's the excess, like, is this true? The tradition of the skepticism, where
Yeah.
skepticism can arise, and
Yeah.
intuition is birthed out of caring less, and
Yeah.
not efforting more into that.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah. Yeah. Good. It's like, as we get to less and to the essential, we're also given the ability to be in creation, like creating from more of a blank canvas, be in creation, a natural self-expression, and have things go the way we want them to go. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
in a conductor at this leading an orchestra, the orchestra of our
Yeah.
life, right? Yeah. Yeah. Very good. Okay. Was there another person who wanted to share, or are we moving along?
Not another person.
Okay.
Debbie, is there anything in the chat you'd like to share?
Just a simple one. Judy says, trust the process is ringing loudly in my ear and my body. Stephanie says, my breath tells me if I'm doing too much or not enough. Marina is just saying she loves the point about intuition coming. Less is more.
Great.
Really good.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Mistake number 7.
The last one here.
The last one.
Good.
You got it.
Okay.
Yep. Not understanding resistance. What are you discovering about not understanding resistance? And think around, what do you resist the most in your life right now? When things get challenging on your mat and in your life, when you really want to quit, that's when the real work begins. And that's also what I found is right before a big breakthrough can occur. And sometimes I notice that people they resist so much that they don't even get themselves to the place where they can have that breakthrough. But when they just stick with it and they move through it and they're just with it, something really shifts for them. So I'm curious, what have you discovered about not understanding resistance? And what do you resist the most in your life right now? Who will share?
Yeah. And if it's, there's not understanding it, so it owns us, it dominates us, our resistance. And maybe what have you discovered about resistance and not being stopped by it? Yeah, like that. Would anyone like to share?
We have Gianna with her hand up.
Okay, Gianna.
I just have can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, you can?
Yes.
Okay. I just have a quick share that is just something that I keep trying to bring myself to, is that when I experience resistance, whether it's slowly on my mat or just in my general life, about where that's coming from for me. Like, is it coming from fear? Is it coming from uncertainty? Is it coming from comparison? But just like, I have this highlighted in the book that says, then it's up to you to choose whether to continue protecting your existing patterns or to expose them to the light. And I just kind of wanted to pop on and share that little bit.
Very good. Very good. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, very good. All right.
And Carly's trying to raise her virtual hand again. She's asking to share.
Okay, Carly.
Hey, I just want to share that what I notice about resistance in my life is anything that I'm resisting, it just keeps persisting. It doesn't go away.
Get stronger.
So
yeah.
So it just keeps building. It doesn't go away. Resisting doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
very
ineffective.
good.
It just affects me. It just builds energetically, metabolically, and which makes me act sooner, why this practice is so important.
Very good. Yeah, it's like resistance is the internal force that shows up whenever we move toward growth or the unknown. It can look like hesitation, distraction, doubt, putting things off, or even suddenly or a certainty that now isn't the right time or something. But resistance, isn't proof that something's wrong. Often it's just evidence that something meaningful is trying to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You brought that up in level 1 as well, that confusion is often the mood before clarity is coming, before, that something like, so I actually, when I'm feel my body resisting something, I now actually, have this urge to reframe it, to get something resolved.
Yeah.
Because with all these years behind me of knowing it's not going anywhere, I want it over. I want to see what's on the other side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Very good.
Thanks.
Very good. Yeah. Resistance is there. And if we learn to dance with it, work with it, not be stopped by it, it allows for something new to arise. Yeah. And understanding resistance, having, when resistance is there, it's like, okay, I acknowledge it. I've got this resistance and it's keeping me separate from reality, from the person in front of me, in this pose. It, is keeping me kind of separate, disassociated from reality. And as I step into reality, the resistance may be there, but it starts loosening up. It's like almost every time it's time for me to get on my mat, I've got this resistance. I don't want to do it, but I know, just get there, just move through the resistance. And within a few, a couple sun salutations, I'm like, oh, I'm in the right place, kind of thing. Yeah.
The action does wonders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only way. It's the only way.
I think it was, you said about confusion, that it was the mood before a breakthrough. So the resistance, the confusion, the I don't know what to do feeling I get a little like, I don't know, weirdly excited about it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I have work.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you. Appreciate it. Again, your shares are awesome. Appreciate it. Very good. Okay. Now, you all are amazing. Thank you for being here today. I want to pass it to Debbie. She wanted to make an offer to you, just as an offering. If it works for you, we'd love to have you at a program. Debbie, did you want to speak to it?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to announce today's winners. I just want everyone to know, like, I see you, like Jerry and Teresa, and there were so many of you that fully showed up every day on camera, commenting. I see you. And I wish we could choose everybody. But we do have to narrow it down because I can't have Baron signing books for the rest of his life. So today's winners are Carly Morrison and Marina Mukandala. So the two of you will be receiving those signed copies of Journey into Power from Baron. So just either reach out to our team or our team will reach out to you to get your address and make that happen.
And wait, I
So
want to throw one more in. I want to send a book to Erica because she's been just showing up full on every call as well. So that's
she got picked yesterday.
Oh, she
Or
did.
Wednesday. Yeah.
She did.
I
Okay,
think so.
Wednesday.
I think so.
I'll send her a
Yeah.
copy of. Do you have
Okay.
Being a Power?
I
Or-
wasn't on Wednesday, just to be honest. I was.
Oh, then it wasn't Erica. Did you win
Oh, wait.
on any of the calls, Erica?
No.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? I had her down. I did have her down, but then something happened and I think someone
Okay.
else. So that's why I was like, because I've been watching her too. She's been playing full out. So thanks for acknowledging that, Baron. Erica, you get the bonus. You
Well,
get the bonus
thanks.
copy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you want a copy of Journey into Power?
Yeah,
Or Being
Journey
a
into
Power?
Power.
Journey into Power. Okay,
Journey into
good.
Power.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
All right. Very good. Okay. So as we're wrapping up this series, again, we all just want to thank you guys for showing up. Because it just wouldn't be fun for Baron and Nick to just talk to themselves, right? It's a global community that creates this together. It's really about being together that causes us all to be up to something greater than ourselves. The work is in the community and in the structure and in each one of you. It's not in Baron. It's not in Nick. It's not in us back end, people running the chat or whatever. It's in the work lives in you. So I just really want to acknowledge that again. Like the work actually lives in you, and each person transformed this week because each one of you showing up and sharing and growing together. So over this week, over those 3 classes, you didn't just attend a master class, right? You practiced, you shared, you got on the mat, you leaned in, and you guys got a real taste of what this work is about. And if you felt something shift, which I believe everyone here did, even just a little, it's not an accident. This is what happens when you actually slow down and get present in our body, when we start looking honestly about how we're showing up in our lives. So the truth is most people don't lack information, right? We live in a world where you can learn anything you want online. But as you all know and have experienced, information alone does not change your life. Transformation happens through practice, through community, and powerful leadership guiding us through that. The kind of environment where you're invited to see your patterns and step beyond them. And that's exactly what this Baptiste work is about, what the methodology is about. So what you guys experienced in this series is just like not even the tip of the iceberg, a very small taste of something so much bigger. The place where the work really comes alive is Journey into Power Level 1. So we'd like to invite you there's 3 of those coming up this year. And we would just like to invite you one more time to that. This is the flagship Baptiste training that has transformed tens of thousands of people literally around this entire world. And you will, yes, learn to master that full journey into power sequence that we got a taste of on Wednesday's call. But it's so, so much more than that. Even if you're a yoga teacher, yes, you will learn how to lead this sequence powerfully. But what happens in level 1 goes far beyond learning a sequence. We see people from every walk of life come through this training. Students, entrepreneurs, CEOs, doctors, lawyers, creatives, parents, everyday people. Some come, yes, because they want to deepen their yoga practice for themselves or whether they want to teach, but others come because they're ready for something to shift their life in a bigger way. So during level 1, you'll go through a powerful process that combines that physical practice of the journey into power sequence, meditation, mindfulness, a methodology of inquiry that helps you see the patterns that have been running your life, like we've been doing in this class. What people discover is those patterns that keep them playing small, doubting themselves, holding back, are not permanent. They can be seen, they can be questioned, and as you've experienced a little bit of already, they can be transformed. So that's why people often walk into level 1 one way, and they walk out as a completely different version of themselves. More confident, more present, more courageous, more connected to what they actually want in their lives. This is not the end of a journey. For many people, this is the beginning of living with a level of power, clarity, and authenticity that they've never experienced before. So here's the invitation. If something inside of you during these last 3 classes has been saying, I want more of this in my life, then we want to personally invite you to join us for Journey into Power Level 1, the online version, which is really convenient. You guys can, just like you are now, you can practice this from anywhere you are in the world. All of the classes are on demand, so you can practice before work, after work, after your kid's soccer game. There are live calls with Baron and Nick, so you get to experience more of this. But the core trainings are on demand, so you can practice and learn at your own convenience, and then get on those live calls to deepen it, ask questions, get feedback with Baron and Nick directly. And then there's 2 of them in person if you'd rather actually be live and in person with Baron and Nick and the team. There's 2 of those coming up, Park City in June 22nd, and then Gloucester, Massachusetts, which is near Boston, in August 10th through the 15th. So Annette is putting all of those in the chat. And then our special gift to you, of course, I mentioned this before, but if you didn't see that last call or see those emails, we are gifting you $200 off any one of those programs that work best for you. Also, Annetta has a link to book a call with one of our team members. It's not a sales call, it's just to answer your questions about the program level 1, whether it's online joining us this coming Monday for the kickoff call. The live calls start on Tuesday, but again, it's all recorded, so you can join at your own pace. But if you have calls about joining the level 1 online or the in-person ones, we do have that link in the chat. So you can just book a quick conversation with our team. Again, it's not a sales call. There's no pressure. They are just there to answer your questions and support you in deciding which level 1 is right for you, whether online or in person, and then which one, maybe Utah, maybe Massachusetts. So those links are there. We would love to welcome you into this next evolution of this journey together, Journey into Power Level 1. So we don't just watch the transformation happen, we step into it fully for ourselves. So that's all I wanted to share. Again, thank you all for joining us, and we do hope to see you at one of those level 1s with us this year.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Nick. And thank you to each and every one of you. You are amazing. Just keep going out, be a stand for your life, and keep creating. Yeah. Staying in the practice and just sourcing life from that well, that Keep drinking from that well of the practice, nourishing yourself, and look forward to being with you again soon. Yeah. Thank you. Good work.
Thank you, Baron.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What a fun group, huh?
Thank you,
A
man.
super fun group. And we will send an email with today's replay and the other 2 days replays. And again, that coupon code for you and the link to chat with our team. You guys will get all of that in an email. And then if you have any questions, just reach out to hello@baptisteyoga.com. And we're just here for anything you guys need. So again, this isn't the end. It's just the beginning. So thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.